Are you watching Current Issues? My name is Vineet Malhotra. And of course, Baloch and Sindhi leaders have held a joint protest outside the Chinese embassy in London against the China-Pakistan economic corridor. From Germany to now UK, Baloch people across the world are getting together to tell the world how Pakistan has been using Baloch territory against its own people. It is not just the atrocities against Balochistan, but the vicious stance that Pakistan has taken in other parts of its provinces. It underlines the fact that how Pakistan selectively disregards the ethnicity of its provinces and is only concerned with pulling out its geographical advantages. The schizophrenic Pakistan has already lost the trust of its own people. Is it now losing the ground to prove itself in the international community? We explore the possibility of Pakistan being rendered a full-blown failed state today on Current Issues, and let's get into the debate and welcome our guest. With me in the studio is Mr. Shashank, former Foreign Secretary of India. So thank you so much for talking to us. Sheetal Sharma, International Affairs expert. She's live with us. And Major General G.D. Bakshi will also be joining us very soon. And we have a special guest, Hamid Jan Kakar from London on Skype. He is also an expert in this area and sympathizes with the struggles of the Baloch people as well as the other ethnicity, the minor ethnicities in Pakistan. Mr. Shashank, let's start and jump into the debate with you. You know, the people of Balochistan, the people who are in fact going to be directly impacted by this corridor, worry about their future. They worry about the exploitation that their resources will go through. They worry about the exploitation that the people will go through. The amount of money that Pakistan and China are spending on this corridor is approximately $46 billion, but not even a penny is being spared for the people who are going to be affected by this economic, so to call, progressive corridor of India and China and Pakistan.
You are quite right. The past experience of the Baloch people shows that their resources, and it's an extremely resource-rich area of Pakistan. It's almost 44% area-wise of the territory of Pakistan, now Pakistan, after 71. And sui gas or other minerals, so they are being exploited from there, but the Baloch people are not getting anything out of it. It remains one of the most backward provinces of Pakistan. Secondly, they have only seen mayhem, murders, attacks, including recently there was this attack on the lawyers at one of the hospitals where many of the intellectual people of the Baloch province, they lost their lives, and the Pakistanis just tried to transfer the blame to India, whereas in Balochistan, there are such strict controls that except for the army, nobody else can run freely within that province. So I think this is the past experience which Balochistan has had. They have requested for China and Pakistan that their interests must be taken into account. But what we have seen is that Chinese have requested for full security for their projects in Balochistan and along the corridor. And Pakistanis have therefore moved about 10,000 troops extra into Balochistan, and the kind of oppression of the Baloch people has increased. Same way in Sindh and other provinces also, Pakhtunkhwa province also, people have been requesting that some more areas of their provinces must be added to the corridor so that the benefits can flow to them. So what it appears is that $46 billion which China wants to put in this corridor is mostly going to go to the Pakistan army and at the most to people belonging to Punjab province. So I think this is really giving rise to tremendous disaffection, and also the oppression has further increased because of the disaffection among the people.
Absolutely. And let me also rope in Sheetal Sharma into this debate. Now, Sheetal, off late we have seen a lot of these minor ethnicities which are prevalent in Pakistan, which are unhappy with the way Pakistan has been administering these provinces. Do you think there is this, wave against Pakistan within Pakistan that is catching up, and it is doing nothing more than telling the international community and also rendering Pakistan as a failed state? Do you concur with that?
Yes, Vineet, you are right, and I would like to start with a theoretical background to this situation of nationalism which is now prevailing in Pakistan and in different provinces. Now, one very famous definition by Renan says that that nation is a soul, and nation is a spiritual principle as well. Now, when we talk about nation as a soul and different nationalities, particularly Baluch in this context which we are talking about, it talks of a historical legacy, of ethnic bonds, of cultural heritage and all that which are associated with a community which calls itself as nation. But when it comes to the spiritual principle, it talks of the contemporary time, that are these people ready to live with the nation which they are part of, supposedly, say for example, Balochistan in this case. Now, what has happened, this is certainly an indication of the failed state which Pakistan has now been openly labelled as, that this is failure of the administration, this is failure of the institutional mechanism, this is failure of the government policies, whatever you may say, that they have not been able to satisfy the aspirations and expectations of people in these provinces. And more so, it becomes more stark when you compare it with, in some cases, say for example in Punjab and other provinces, or say particularly city of Karachi, where the minority people hold a large amount of resources, opportunities and access to the fruits of development as compared to people spread over in far off areas, and development happens to be in unequal terms. So what has happened over a period of time, people tend to feel deprived of their natural rights, the benefits that must go to them. And since this Pakistan-China economic corridor has come into existence, China has a different kind of strategy for engaging with Pakistan, because it has its own global aspirations related to South Asia. And now as China is investing more and more in Africa, the corridor is certainly going to help China.
Okay, Sheetal, hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought.
Not feel that,
I have with me on the debate Major General G.D. Bakshi, sir. Thank you so much for talking to us. We are talking about the China-Pakistan economic corridor and the way it is afflicting and affecting the local population of Pakistan, and the fact that Pakistan, has failed to do nothing in this regard. In fact, it's more interested in poking its business in what's going on in Kashmir and how India is dealing with the matter, rather than solving what's going on in its own house. But the question that I want to come to you is, whatever alliances, whatever partnership Pakistan and China create, does China always keep India's, possible interest or non-interest in it? You think whatever the deals Pakistan and China make, it is probably, to keep India away or keep India relegated in some way?
Not relegated, just relegated. It is to target India very specifically. The level of strategic naivete in this country, absence of geostrategic thinking is terrible. Look, the British in their time had created the alarm about the Russian quest for the warm waters of the Arabian Sea. And they had begun the fight to stop the Russians from getting a foothold on the Arabian Sea as far inside as Central Asia and Afghanistan as part of the great game. We have tamely allowed China to create a naval base in Gwadar, directly astride your sea lines of communications coming from the Persian Gulf, the Middle East, Africa, getting you your energy, 60% of your energy supplies without a murmur. We have just handed it over. And the fact of the matter is that this road alignment, railroad beltway, along with the pipelines, comes from Gilgit-Baltistan, which is Indian territory, goes partly through POK, which is Indian territory. And then they have sold Balochistan. Now, please don't forget that Balochistan in 1947 had a treaty Whitehall relationship going back almost a century plus with with British Whitehall. It was a country on par with Nepal, with Burma, with Sri Lanka. And on 11th of August 1947, the British had declared it independent, if you please. It was only on 27th March 1948 that Jinnah marched in the Pakistan army. He asked the Nawab of Kalat, the Khan of Kalat, to sign the instrument of accession. He refused, and they sent jet bombers to bomb his palace, killed his family, killed him, and that is how they occupied Baluchistan and turned it into a colony ever since. They have sucked out its oil, its gas, its iron, its copper, its uranium, its precious stone, and its gold. And they have impoverished the people of that country. They have carried out genocide. This is, if you please, the same country which keeps preaching us sermons on how to deal with the population in Kashmir. What the hell are they doing in POK? They have shamelessly rigged election, and you have slogans of Azadi resounding in Muzaffarabad and other towns of POK. In Gilgit-Baltistan, they have shamelessly killed the Shias, ethnic cleansing of the Shias. In Karachi, they are slaughtering the Muhajirs, right? Who, unfortunately, poor Indian Muslims who emigrated there seeking a better future are still called refugees 70 years after they crossed over. And then, of course, you have the Baluch. 25,000 of them have been killed, just abducted from their homes, from the roads, tortured, bodies thrown on the road, bodies buried in unmarked graves. 25,000? Do you know that Lieutenant General Tika Khan earned the sobriquet of the butcher of Baluchistan? He did what he had done in Bangladesh.
Right.
Precisely what he did in Bangladesh. And this nation has the chutzpah to preach to us,
Right.
teach us how to deal with civilian population.
Absolutely, sir. General Bakshi, I'll come back to you. Hamid Jan, joining us from London, a sympathizer, with the people of Balochistan, Sindh, and all the minorities that have been tortured, tormented, mistreated, and of course, to some extent, relegated in terms of civility by Pakistan. What's your stance?
Thank you, Mr. Malhotra. Thank you very much for providing me this opportunity. I just wanted to clarify something before my analysis. I'm not an expert yet. I'm a researcher, and I'm definitely a sympathizer. Of course, I sympathize with the people of Balochistan because they are suffering as much as we are suffering, the Afghans. I think your two guests, Mr. Bakshi and the first guest, I forgot his name, they said it very rightly. What Pakistan is doing. I just wanted to say that Pakistan is an unnatural state. It shouldn't happen in the first place. The people that are non-Punjabi, such as the Pashtuns, the Baloch, the Sindhis, even the Muhajirs, as you, Mr. Bakshi, just said that even 70 years into the country, most of them were born in Pakistan. They still call them Muhajir. They have not accepted him yet. And as you know, that the leader, the MQM leader, Altaf Hussain, he said in a phone call that the people of Karachi should seek help from India because they've been killed, tortured, and their rights are being violated. Pakistan is, for Pakistan, Balochistan, Pashtunkhwa, and the other provinces, the people of those provinces are not important. The resources are important, and that's why, as you said it, 46 billion project, which is the CPAC, Pak-China Economic Corridor, that money will be taken back to Punjab to be used for Punjabis, not for the Balochis. Even if they invest 1 billion of that money for the Balochis, of course, they will have better schools, they will have hospitals, they will have functioning authorities. They don't. And as your first case said that lawyers were killed, those lawyers were Pashtun. Let me just say that there is a Balochistan, a state, and there's a Balochistan, a province. The Balochistan province, which the capital is Quetta, a lot of people that reside in that province, and the capital of the Balochistan as province are Pashtuns, and they're nationalists. And those lawyers who were killed, they were nationalists. They were just asking for more rights. They were asking for the equal rights as the Punjabis have. But they were slaughtered to death by the Pakistani army, and of course they blame the Pakistani intelligence, Pakistani army blamed Afghans and Indians for that. And but if I send you documents that those people are actually India friendly and Afghanistan friendly because they're Pashtun nationalists, they call themselves Afghans. Right now, for me, one thing that I don't understand is that you can understand the language of the Pakistanis, you can understand Urdu. If you watch their programs, daily news, daily on their private channels as well as the state-owned channels, trust me, you will not be able to sleep at night because they're a nuclear dome state, and the only thing that they say that they see the destruction, they see the Pakistan's destruction and a peaceful, prosperous
Okay.
India, Afghanistan, and other countries.
Hamid, I'll come back to you. Hamid, just hold on to that thought. Let me also get in, a fresh, perspective from Mr. Shashank. Mr. Shashank, he has mentioned the way Pakistan has been building up a narrative against India, and especially after 15th of August, after the Prime Minister Narendra Modi mentioned Balochistan in his speech, the narrative from both the sides has become very, very strong, especially from Pakistan's side. And on top of that, you club it with the CPEC, the corridor that India and that Pakistan and China are creating. How is this going to affect India, and what are the preemptive steps that we need to take at this point in time?
Well, as General Bakshi said very rightly, that Pakistan had taken it for granted that they could continue to do increased terroristic activities within India, encouraging that, supporting it in all manners, and the main debate or main dialogue between India and Pakistan would continue to be on the effects of terrorism on the two countries and how the two countries' governments could cooperate with each other to curb this terrorism. And at the same time, they would continue increasing terrorism, hurting India in Kashmir and also different parts of India. Also other neighbors of India like Bangladesh, which is also affecting our Bangla state. So I think this is, the whole dialogue has changed after 15th of August. Once the government of India said enough is enough, and it is not necessary just to talk about the issues in Jammu and Kashmir and the democratic rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, which have been given to them in any case as part of the Indian Constitution. And what is now more important is to see what Pakistan is doing with regard to the area under the administrative control of Pakistan under various subterfuges in POK, Pakistan Occupied Kashmir, and Gilgit and Baltistan, because they have handed over parts of these territories to the Chinese under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and therefore they have been handing over territories to China, which naturally normally doesn't belong to them, and they are negotiating with India, so which means that their negotiations are not in good faith.
Right.
And so Indians have taken the issue very clearly with the Pakistani side for the first time.
Right.
That let us discuss what is happening in POK, let us see what is going on in Gilgit and Baltistan, about the people who are also, as per the resolutions of the Indian Parliament, are Indian people. And as per the instrument of accession signed by the ruler of Jammu and Kashmir, they should all be part of India.
Right. Okay, let me also get in a fresh take from Sheetal. Sheetal, earlier, whatever protest, one used to read about, one used to see, they mostly originated, from within Pakistan and the afflicted areas. But, with this fresh approach, where people actually took out a rally against the Pakistani government outside of the Chinese embassy, do you think this is probably a good way of approaching the international community and, bringing them into cognizance about the way Pakistan has been grossly violating civil rights and human rights?
Absolutely, Vineet. There are 2-3 aspects of the whole scenario now. One thing is that the behavior or the behavior of the state called as Pakistan is now in black and white. There are no doubts about it that the world community at the global level does not understand that there is a difference between what they speak and what they do. The second good thing is that after a long period of time, Indians have become, if not offensive, at least assertive about their stand on Kashmir and Pak-occupied Kashmir. So far we have been so defensive in terms of, maintaining a line of control and somehow trying to pacify people and saying that, okay, POK is that side and Kashmir is this, and all those things which we have been, entangled for a long period of time. This is for the first time that the government has taken a stand where they have said, forget Kashmir, talk about Pakistan occupied Kashmir, where you have been doing all these atrocities. The third important thing is that if you look at China's role in the entire scheme of things, or even US support to certain extent, those actions can be explained from a realistic perspective in international theories, that they have their own genuine economic interest. That is why they act like this. Otherwise, everybody understands Pakistan's intention very clearly. Now, the next thing is that the very fact that the communities of Baluch diaspora are taking up all these agitations all over the world is a very welcome step for two reasons. One, for the Baluch people themselves, and for the the fight or the struggle of nationalism. At the same time, it also authenticates India's stand that it is not just about Kashmir, that they are trying to send 22 envoys all over the world,
right,
or making Kashmir an international issue where everybody has clearly stated that it is a bilateral relation issue between the two countries. So this will really bring about the kind of double standard Pakistan is having on Kashmir issue and the Baluch, and in no case these two are comparable, because Kashmir was India's part and Baluch was annexed forcefully.
Well, absolutely. That's a very good point you've made. And coming back to General Bakshi, Pakistan's narrative about Kashmir, and especially what's recently happened in Kashmir after Burhan Wani's death, do you think, since the Hariyat has not been very, very efficient in trying to control the mob situation and trying to, relent the Protestants from, going on forward, Pakistan has, found some sort of a gap, it's found some sort of a lacuna, which it's trying to explore psychologically. It's trying to influence the people of Kashmir, and that is one area where Pakistan, has been proficient in. But when it comes to its own territory, but when it comes to its own people within Pakistan, it has failed terribly over there, because there's nothing at stake for Pakistan there.
You see, the simple fact is that I'm sorry, I don't go along with the supposition that Pakistan is trying to take advantage of all that is happening, as if it has nothing to do with what is happening. I'm afraid it has everything to do with what is happening. 4 times Pakistan tried to take this state by military force, got kicked in the teeth each time. 1971, it lost half its country trying to again take parts of Jammu and Kashmir. And then it switched to proxy war. 25 years of a terrorist offensive, even that has been crushed. Out of the 3,500 terrorists who used to be there in the start of this century, we are today down to 148, 150 terrorists. That is all. In 2008, Pakistan switched gears again and started this so-called Intifada type uprising of paid stone pelters. 60 crore rupees have been pumped into the state. The NIA is still investigating accounts which have suddenly mushroomed, blossomed, and are being paid 10,000 rupees. They have been paying out by, 10 times a day to these stone pelters. And the Hurriyat is behind it all. The Hurriyat is Pakistan's cat's paw. So the fact is, to claim such innocence as if they have nothing to do with it, they are just trying to take advantage of what is happening, is not quite correct. I'm sorry, that is not the ground reality. It is all Pakistani machinations to kind of do this, which have also backfired and will continue to backfire. The pity is Pakistan should look within. Now, I also disagree strongly with the statement that China has just got economic interest in Pakistan. Please see the media depictions of the alignment of the China-Pakistan corridor. If it was only for trade, it would have been kept east of the Indus, west of the Indus, because to save it from any India-Pakistan conflict. No, there are 2 loops which come to the Punjab border and to the Rajasthan border. It is for military purposes. Pakistan has been used to renting out its territory to any extra regional power which will help it counterbalance a larger India. It rented out its territory to the United States first, and now the United States has no further use. It has rented out its territory to China, sold it out in this case, and territory that belonged to us. So how generous? You sell out Gilgit-Baltistan areas, rob the people there, rob the people of Baluchistan, settle Punjabis there, settle Pashtuns there, who make all the lolly, make all the money, suck out their resources like a colonial suction economy.
Okay,
Just like the one it had created in Bangladesh to suck out the resources of that area. And then it got a bang in its face in 71, And I would be too surprised if it again blows up in its face in Balochistan,
General
in Sindh,
General Bakshi,
in
with all due
Pakistan-occupied
respect,
Kashmir, in Gilgit-Baltistan.
we are looking at a nuclear Pakistan as compared to the Pakistan that we saw in 1971. We are talking about a only Islamic state which is equipped with nuclear weapons, and that is a big deterrent.
Excellent. Well, we fought the Kargil war for 3 months. I want to ask you a straight question. How many nuclear bombs did you see bursting in New Delhi or Calcutta or Mumbai? You know, the fact of the matter is, this is being used to self-deter some cowardly, people in our civilian establishment who have now gotten a perfect excuse to carry on track 2, track 3, and I don't know what kind of peace diplomacy which gives them, free junkets abroad. You think Pakistan is going to be, we don't have nuclear weapons? It will deter their use. And when push comes to shove, the Pakistani generals have a lot too much to lose. They have huge bungalows, mansions, factories. They own half of Pakistan. And you think they're going to risk it all for the sake of Jammu and Kashmir? And not even Balochistan, let me tell you.
Okay, let me also rope in
that it has been overhyped,
General Bakshi,
oversold.
Overwhelmed by your emotions and your thoughts. Let me also get in some closing thoughts from Hamid, who's joining us from London. Hamid, be brief in whatever you're going to say because we're running out of time. Pakistan, it's become a nuisance not only for India but for the entire world. The way the puppet government has been functioning, relegating the minorities and not taking care of its own people becomes an epicenter of terrorism globally. What is the solution? Voices, such as we heard in London. You think we need more of such demonstration, the international community coming together, having some sort of a symposium to oust Pakistan so that it cannot affect civility and ethnicities in any which way possible in the future?
Definitely, most definitely. I have some proposals for the Indian government. The first one is that the Kashmiris, you have to fund them to go to Pakistan, especially Pakistani-occupied Kashmir, Pakistani-occupied Pashtunistan, and Pakistani-occupied Balochistan.
Right.
Let them go and see for themselves how people are suffering. Then those people that are Pakistan-friendly, they will slap themselves in the back of the head and there's no
Hamid, I apologize. Second, Hamid, I apologize to you. We've run out of time. We will continue this debate on another day. I apologize. I had to interject and intercept you in the middle. That is all we have on the show. I would like to thank my guest, Mr. Shashank, who joined us in the studio. Sheetal Sharma, Major General G.D. Bakshi, thank you so much for being with us. And Hamid Jan, thank you so much for joining us. That is all we have on current issues. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep watching News World India. Thank you.